Hi everyone, welcome to my Shoreline studio. I'm Sybil Mustick. Behind the camera is Joshua Blanc. Today we're doing a variety of things, and basically we're going to do some llama stuff. I happen to be very fond of llamas. I don't have any, but I have a friend who does. They rescued 3 llamas. They were going to be put down because the owner was too old, couldn't look after them anymore. So they took them up, and they've been their pets ever since, and they're just most adorable. We have a short on our YouTube videos about the llamas, and you'll have to see them. We're going to be working both with acrylics and with some monotype colors. I'm using speedball. I don't have hooves, but they would work. And we're just going to sort of mess around with llamas. And also, I ordered some wet strength tissue paper. Now, wet strength tissue paper is great fun to work with. It has its issues, or maybe it's me that has issues with it, but but it's great stuff, and lovely in collages. I've used it before, and I finally was able to order some and get it delivered. All of those have stories behind them. But anyway, okay, so here's some stuff we were doing. I had a little fern, and I would just impress it into the ink that's on the 8x10 gel plate. And we won't be using this because it's too dark for the llamas. This is closer. So we're going to be doing the llama in just black, and I mean, we could add color to it with pastels and so forth, but you know, we have limited time here in the studio, and Josh is always after me to do snippets. But you know, we do the best we can, and so this one might work, and it's a little on the dark side. Anyway, we're going to do one of those prints first. I have my 8x10 gel plate ready to go here, and we have some from the previous prints that I was doing. We have a little bit of stuff left over on the plate, so we're just going to add a little bit more to that. I was thinking more of a light color to use with the llama. And my drawing is kind of out of proportion. Looks like a very hairy dog rather than a llama. But we can adjust a few things, so we will do that. And adding a little silver here. And my brayer, oh yes. Every time I use the matte medium, I have to clean it because it leaves almost insoluble film and really hard to get off. So as soon as you've used matte medium with your brayers, be sure and get them to the sink pronto and get all that stuff off. So now maybe mess around with some mark making here and just, you know, doodle away. Have some nice little tools for this kind of thing. So llamas, you know, like hay. Actually, they like roses too, according to my friend. Among other greenery, she has to practically barbed wire fencing in her garden. So just, you know, have fun with it. And I have, this has got little edges, so you can do all sorts of interesting marks. And you might want to maybe try a grid. You know, llamas do need fencing. My hubby was, we bought a new plow for our truck, and he was asked by his friends if we could plow their driveway. And one of the llamas was very curious and ended up going down to the gate, which was not a good idea. So he herded the llama back with the plow, and it was bound and determined to go running down the road. But we headed it off at the pass. So you can do, you know, little marks that generally just, you know, this is a good warm-up exercise. You can just, you know, go all hog wild making marks and doing strange and wonderful things. And straw and hay sort of look like this. You know, it's all lines every which way. Okay, so it's a good enough it'll do situation, except you're not supposed to do that. We had a teacher at my alma mater, and he was always saying, you know, never say, you know, good enough it'll do. And that became our catchphrase when we were at school till the wee hours, like 3 or 4 in the morning, trying to get work finished. So we just chuck it on the desk and say, good enough, it'll do. And by that time, of course, it probably was good enough. But we do have to probably use the Baron and then pull it off. Now, this is a wet strength tissue paper, so it's actually pretty good. And I think by the time we get to the llama, we will probably have this dry. Looking very good, very neat. All right. And some of the little incidentals from the previous marks that were still on the plate. And of course we could do a ghost print. So we'll just give it one more coat here and then try that just on regular paper. And then we'll get a ghost print. Okay. I'm going to try and find my yellow paper, so we'll have Josh put an interlude on and we'll be right back. Okay, we're going to get this ghost print. I'll probably leave it on here for a bit. Let it sort of cook while we're trying to do a llama. So I have in front of me here a drawing, just a line drawing I did of the llama. Here's our reference photo. I've adjusted it a little bit. Here the neck isn't quite long enough, and we needed to adjust that just slightly. I looked at some stock photos too, and so everything's good. So now I have done, this is a previous llama that I did with the same kind of background, just to show you, you know, what it would look like this. And from that one, we have sort of a ghost image of the llama, and we're just going to roar through repainting it. And I have some nice paper that we're going to just position that on there and print it. So we'll use that as a reference up here, and then we're just going to keep it brown, I think. And these speedball inks, you know, they will dry sort of, but as soon as you add water, they're workable again. So if you're, mounting prints, then either put them under glass or put a layer of acrylic medium on it to fix them permanently. Now the difference here, I think my previous llamas look kind of more like goats than llamas. The difference is this long neck they have, and then they have this sort of square body, and they're extremely shaggy because of all the hair they have. And we'll add some details here as we go along. Not going to see much of highlights. We'll do the best we can here. And shadows, because the wool is so extreme. And of course, llama wool is prized. It's very, if you try and buy that, it's very expensive. We give them a nice little tail. It's not really obvious on the, but it's there. Okay, so we're just doing the hair, so, contouring the hair. And I'm adding a little bit more of the lighter brown. And I'll probably add some yellow on top there. The nice thing with these square brushes, they will hold a nice edge as well. And llamas have really strange feet. They have cloven hooves. And they're a beast to try and draw, because they just don't look right. But then a lot of the llama doesn't seem to look right at all. But somehow, there it is. And I don't say that they look comical, not really saying that. I'm just saying their features are, unusual. I think that's probably the nicest way of putting it. And they, for the most part, they're very sweet-tempered, and they will act as like guard dogs. If there's a strange animal in the yard, like wolves and cougars, and we do have cougars in our area, believe it or not. And they would probably stomp a cougar. Or other wild cats. We have lynxes and bobcats and so forth. Not running amok so much, but they're in the area. It's not exactly a wilderness area, but countryside area, and we have bears and things like that. So just painting our ears. And I'm going to lighten up the face because their faces are lighter. So just need a tiny bit here. A little bit of the brown. And a tiny bit of water. We don't want to have it take too long to dry, so I'm not using a lot of water, just moistening enough to make the paint workable. Okay. Now we're not going to get this is a monotype, and we've got a lot of detail in the background here, so the llama is not going to be, have very detailed features. The point is just to get the idea of llama rather than a highly realistic animal. As long as you get the feeling that, you know, this is. And they have knobbly knees. So I say they're unusual to look at. Now we do need a lot of hair here. So now I'm going to add some of that richer brown. And we're just going to give it lots and lots of hair. And then with our detail brush, we'll outline the eye. And just have some of the hair going right over the legs here. And I think when we did the short, I didn't name Wimpy. This is Wimpy. He's the brown one. He's the male of the group. And the ladies boss him around, poor thing. He's the youngest, and so the lowest man on the totem pole, sort of. Okay, and then there is some detail here where the hair goes this way and this way. And actually, in the photograph, and here you can see, you know, he's much shaggier than what I'm painting, but that's okay. We're not, like I said, it's not a realistic representation in any sense of the word, just the idea that. And if you look on the internet, you know, the images of llamas, you'll have all sorts of llamas, cartoony ones and whatnot. We just outline the eye a little bit. And maybe we'll put a little bit of that violet in there. And on his nose. And he has sort of a smile. I don't know if that's going to show up or not. And on the ears. Quite strange ears as well. But I imagine their hearing is really good for predators, so you have to actually exaggerate the features a little bit. So that's what we're going to be doing here. Like the eye probably isn't as big as that, but it gives it some personality. And I think we're pretty good. Around our ears a little bit more. Okay, so now all we have to do now is wait for it to dry. Josh will put an interlude in, and we will print that. And then what we do is I'm going to place it on here like this. We're going to spritz the back with water, and then we'll use some paper towel to take down most of the moisture. It will print the llama on there in position. And I think that's the easiest way to do it. The other way, of course, is you could flip it on there, have this pre-wet. This is, don't forget, it's acrylic, it's Amsterdam paint. If you had this as the speedball, it wouldn't work because it will run, all the paint will run on here. Because once, even though it's on paper, it will, if you wet it again, it will, you know, the paint will just run, not totally, because some of it will have dried into the paper, but you don't want to go there. So this part always has to be acrylic. This part can be the monotype llama. So that works good. Okay, well, we'll see you again shortly. Okay, so we're coming to the really exciting part. Now, because this is dry, I can put this down here, and I've got my light box on. So now we can sort of move things around. Do we want it more this way, you know, down, up, whatever. You can sort of gauge where you want. Once you have a good position, we will do it more this way, so it's not dead center. Okay, so now gently spritz it. And it's just amazing, this wet strength tissue, how strong it can be. And the fact that it's, you know, warping a little bit and doing strange things just make the print a little bit more interesting. So don't over wet it because you have to dry it. So we take just some paper towel. And now some of the paint will actually soak through, as you can see. So you do lose a little bit of it. Now you want it to be, you know, pretty wet to begin with. Otherwise the print will not happen. The paint will not transfer to the acrylic base coat. Okay, I'm going to use my heat tool, but we'll do it off camera because it's very noisy and it just takes a minute. It's not so damp now, and it actually doesn't take long to do. Okay. Now the heat tool works pretty good as long as you don't allow the heat to go in any one area too long. And I think it's picking up our llama pretty good. Okay, we could have dried a tiny bit more, but there you go. And you can do a few touch-ups, you know, to add extra detail. It's still a little bit soggy. We sort of lost the face a little bit, so we can adjust that. And there's our llama. They are such beautiful beasts and really a joy. Don't forget his knobbly knees. All right, so there we go. And we'll show it at the end, totally dry. So, and our background is interesting. We had, I did these ferns in the background and just placed them on the wet paint. And so he's in a context busy guarding. Watch out for those cougars. Anyway, so much fun. Try your hand at doing a llama. You know, check out stock photos. Go out to one of those petting farms. They often have llamas, and study these animals because they really are a fantastic, you know, type of dromedary, I guess they are, right? In the camel family. So have fun with it, and we'll see you here again at Shoreline Studio for another episode coming up very soon again. We post videos every Thursday to various sites and of course to YouTube. And we are showing on Rogers Cable in Quesnel, Prince George, Chatwin, Fort St. John, Dawson Creek, I think. I'm not sure of all the places yet, but anyway, take care of yourselves and your families and be kind to one another. Bye for now.